In 1989, the world was in a great shifting of powers.
In Afghanistan, the Afghan Mujahideen, supported by the United States, defeated the Soviet army.
The wall came down, and we did not anticipate the total implosion of the Soviet Union.
In 1989, the collapse of the Iron Curtain, coupled with the Soviet withdrawal from Afghanistan, signaled the decline of communism and the waning days of the Cold War.
Those Mujahideen who went to Afghanistan realized, wow, we did not only defeat the Soviets who invaded Afghanistan, we destroyed the Soviet empire.
But the devastation left behind stoked a new global conflict, a conflict the U.S. was not prepared for.
We said, okay, mission accomplished, see you later, you sort it out.
Gradually, extremism grows and grows.
Today, the West is constantly engaged with violent factions around the world, aggression that events 30 years ago helped fuel.
What we did back in 1989 in Afghanistan resulted in what we saw in downtown Manhattan on 9/11.
And no one knows when this war will end.
This is not a fight that we're going to win in a decade, much less a few years. The threat of Islamist extremists is generational.
White truck, 3 o'clock, Johnson. We're gonna push it. We're gonna push it out of the way. Get out! Get out!
For many years now, the war on terror has raged.
Okay?
But he's okay.
Fine, not a scratch on him. Lucky son of a gun.
But the enemy isn't an evil empire or a rogue state. This is a fight against Islamic extremists, a complex group of combatants with a collective goal of changing the world order.
The U.S. military suffered one of the worst battlefield tragedies in several years.
3 U.S. helicopters were shot down by rocket-propelled grenades.
U.S. Black Hawk pilot.
Early this morning, bombs exploded outside 2 of our American embassies in Africa.
The Navy is losing hope of finding any more survivors from Thursday's attack on the USS Cole.
And we have a breaking news story to tell you about. Apparently, a plane has just crashed into the World Trade Center.
Less than a month after 9/11, the United States and its allies responded with force. The military action would begin in Afghanistan.
Reloading!
The place where many of the seeds of the 9/11 attack had been planted. Not in 2001, but in 1989.
My official title was Special Envoy to the Afghan Resistance. That gave me responsibility for working with the Afghan Mujahideen and also with Pakistan. 1989 was a key turning point in the war against terror.
A decade before 1989, the Soviets were looking to preserve a communist government in Afghanistan and protect their interests in the country from Western nations.
On Christmas Eve, 1979, that's when the Soviets invaded Afghanistan.
The invasion set the stage for one of the final showdowns of the Cold War, when the Pentagon threw its support behind the opposition, a coalition of Muslim fighters known as the Mujahideen.
The CIA and the Pakistani intelligence organization, known by the acronym ISI, had an enormous covert weapons program. It amounted to about $200 million to help the Afghan Mujahideen defeat the communist regime.
The world, as I had known it, changed. Beginning in 1989, we had been supporting the Mujahideen along with our ally Saudi Arabia, to the point of supplying them with surface-to-air missiles, some of which came back to bite us later on when they fell into the hands of the Taliban.